Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Teacher Rayven. You're here at Teacher Rayven Vlogs. So thank you for those who already viewed and subscribed in this channel. Please don't forget to share this channel to your friends, your classmates, so that we will learn together. So in this channel, we talk about language, writing, media, and other teaching learning aspects. So please don't forget to share and support this video. I would like to thank also those who already viewed the noun series. I will be linking it here, and also the other videos on the part of speech, that is Van Papsi. It is here, so don't forget to also view that video because we will have a different concept today or for this video. So I hope that you learn something. This is Language Talks. So for this Language Talks video, we will have another part of speech that is also important in a sentence or in language or grammar, and that is your verbs. So first we have to know the definition of verbs. So it is a word that expresses time while showing action. Okay, for example, you have here Pedro prays daily. So you have the subject Pedro doing something, and that is praying or prays. And daily here shows how Pedro prays. Okay, so the main verb here is praise, an action, a performance, an activity. So that is one kind of, or one definition of a verb. Another one is a condition. Sheila will be grateful. So here, your verb will be is connecting the subject Sheila to a complement or to a condition. Okay, that describes Sheila in the future. And in this case, Sheila will be grateful. Okay, and then the next one, an existence. Okay, or it could also be a location. Like Ivan is here. So your verb is connecting, okay, your subject Ivan to another part of the sentence, which is here. Okay, so again, as you can see, for condition and existence, they are not actions, because the usual definition of a verb for early learners is that they pertain to action. They are action words, but again, they are not always actions. Okay, so let's now have the main topic for today, which is your main kinds of verbs. So I think a lot of you will have different idea on the different kinds of verbs, because it's really a very wide topic. So in this case, we will use the main kinds, which is your action and linking verbs, because action and linking verbs are considered main kinds because they are the foundation kinds of verbs. They are the foundation because they talk about the definition of what verbs are. It could be actions, it could be condition, or existence. Okay, so in this case, we have action and linking verbs. Now let's dig deeper. Let's look into the action verb. So for action verb, it is a verb that tells what action someone or something is performing. So again, it's a performance, it's an activity, it's an action being done by a person or something, okay, or by your subject, specifically if we are talking about a sentence. So in this case, we have camel eats slowly, and then we have the car hit the light post. So in the first sentence, we have camel as the subject and eats is your verb. Okay, slowly is how camel eats. It describes how camel eats. It describes the verb. Okay, so it's an adverb. So in this case, we have eats as the action performed by your subject, or the camel here in the sentence. Okay, and then the other one, the car hit the light post. Can we have the subject, the car, and then the verb hit. Okay, so the car did something to the light post and it hit the light post. So here they are performances or activity, something that you could observe as an action, a motion, okay, that you could see. Okay, and that is your action verb. Now, you will also notice that action verbs could also be mental in essence, meaning you could not see it, but you can say that it is being done by the subject. So how do we know that? Because there are your visible action verbs and your mental action verbs. So for visible, we have, in this example, Patty painted the plywood. So for example, I am the observer. I am looking at Patty painting the plywood. I could observe Patty and then see that she is doing something or painting the plywood. So it's observable, it can be seen, it can be observed by the person. Okay? The bamboo sways. Okay, so here the subject is swaying. So the sways here, okay, is an action, a performance that you could see, okay, that you could observe. Therefore, this is a visible action verb. Okay, then the next one is your mental action verb. Jerick remembers his friends. Okay, so for mental, you could not observe it, okay, directly, okay, from the subject or from the person that you're observing, but it could be some manifestation that you could observe. But again, the direct action verb or that specific action verb, you cannot really observe, okay, because it is going on inside the mind of the person. Okay, so like for example, remembers. Okay, you could see that he could be smiling, he could be nostalgic, okay, but the person, you cannot say that what is he thinking about. Okay, you could all just assume, okay, but really not say or conclude what is going on in the mind of the person. The next one is April believes in hard work. So here you have April, the subject, believes your action verb, your mental action verb, okay, again going on in the mind of the person. You cannot observe it, but you could see some manifestations of it. For example, April believes in hard work, so she is doing something. She is making sure that she will be successful by doing a lot of stuff or a lot of work, okay, or doing her best in a particular task. So they could be manifestations of that belief. Okay, so that's your mental and visible action verbs. Now, there are other examples here. Your visible, we have jump, write, read, and drive. For mental, we have hope, worry, learn, and think. So again, visible, you could observe, you could see the performance or the activity. But for mental, you could just see manifestations, but not really what is going on in the mind, because it is in the mind of the subject or the person doing the action. Okay? There. So now let's move on to another kind of action verb. That is your transitive and intransitive. So for transitive and intransitive, we have to remember first their concepts, their definitions. For transitive, we have directs action towards someone or something named in the sentence. Okay, so I will be linking here the functions of nouns because in the functions of nouns, the direct object is actually discussed there. So we could always go back to that to understand also your transitive verbs. Because in transitive verbs, there is this appearance of the object of the verb, which is the receiver of the action of the transitive verb. Okay? So the intransitive verb is your verb that does not direct action towards someone or something named in the sentence. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. You don't have an object of the verb for intransitive verbs. Okay, so how do we visualize that? In sentences. So for transitive verbs, we have example, Brian topped the licensure examination for nurses. So here your verb is topped, your subject is Brian. So again, in using transitive verbs, you could test them by asking the question what or whom. Okay, for what or whom, if you could find the answer in the sentence and it is named in the sentence, then that verb is a transitive verb. For example, in this case, we have Brian topped what? Did you see the answer of what here? Yes, topped the licensure examination. So therefore, topped is a transitive verb because you could see the answer of what to in the sentence. Okay? Next, we have transitive. Maribel danced gracefully. So we have here another verb. Let's again put it in the test of what or whom. Dance what? Or danced whom? Can you see the answer for those questions? You cannot. Therefore, dance is an intransitive verb. It does not have the object of the verb. Okay? There. So, let's move on to the next kind of verb, your linking verb. A verb that connects a word at or near the beginning of a sentence with a word at or near the end. So here, it's a connecting word to the different parts of the sentence. The most common example of your linking verb is your be. The linking verb that is used most often in sentences. So what are the different forms of be? So you have here the chart. You could always go back to this if you want to look for the forms of the be verb. You have am, are, is, was, were, am being, are being, is being, was being, were being, can be, could be, may be, might be, must be, shall be, should be, will be, would be, have been, has been, had been, could have been, may have been, might have been, must have been, shall have been, should have been, will have been, and would have been. So again, the be verb is dependent on the tense, the aspect, or the part of verb that it follows. So again, that will be a different video. So here, you could always look into this chart if you want to know the different forms of the be verb. Okay, so in these examples, like Christine is a fighter, so the be verb is, or the linking verb is, connects the first part of the sentence to other parts of the sentence, and in this case the subject and a complement. So usually your instructors, your teachers will illustrate this using a double-headed arrow like that. Okay, so the subject is connected to a complement, and then that is connected by a linking verb is. Okay, there. So another example, we have they are friends. So a while ago we have a subject, singular subject, Christine, just one subject. Now here we have a plural subject, meaning there are many. So we have are as the linking verb to be used to this sentence, and then connecting they, your subject, and friends, your complement. Okay? Next we have I am here for you. Remember, I uses a very special linking verb or a be verb, and that is am. Okay, so we use am to connect I, the subject, and then to the other part of the sentence, which is here for you. And the last one is the flower vase should be on the coffee table. So just like what I said a while ago, the linking verb pertains to condition, existence, or location of the subject. And in this case, we have the flower vase should be on the coffee table. So should be connecting the flower vase to its location on the coffee table. Okay? There. So here, you could observe the book became a classic. Not a be verb, okay? But it is a linking verb. So how do we know if such verbs like this, like for example, another one, the weather turned suddenly colder during the night, everyone feels safe at home, and that style looks good on you, to be linking verbs and not really action verbs. So the technique in determining is substituting am, are, or is for the verb. Okay, so how do we do that to determine whether a verb is a linking or action verb? So for example, we have the apple tastes sweet. So what do? In the technique, it says we change the verb. And in this case, we have taste, or substitute it with am, is, or are. So since we have the apple as a singular subject, then we use a singular verb. In this case, we use is. The apple is sweet. So did it maintain the meaning of the sentence? Did it maintain the thought, the sentence? Okay, so since it did, then taste here is a kind of a linking verb. Okay? Because we could substitute it with am, is, or are. If we could not, and if it did not make sense, or if it changed the meaning of the sentence, then it is an action verb and not a linking verb. The next one, I taste the cake. Action or linking? Again, let's substitute. I am the cake. Did it make sense? Did it maintain the meaning of the sentence? Therefore, taste is an action verb because you cannot substitute taste with is in this case or am in this case. Okay? Next, he grew a beard. Action or linking? Again, we substitute grew, the verb, with am, is, or are. He is a beard. Could we maintain the definition or the meaning of the sentence? How about its thought? Okay. So therefore, he grew a beard is an action verb and not a linking verb. Okay? How about the other kinds? This milk smells sour. Change it with, or substitute with am, is, or are. The milk is sour. Did it make sense? Okay, so therefore, this is a linking verb. How about the other one? The guard sounded the alarm. The guard is the alarm. Did it make sense? No, so we cannot substitute it, therefore it's an action verb. Okay, next one. Ruth smelled the flowers. Let's substitute smelled with am, is, or are. Ruth is the flowers. Okay, since we cannot, therefore, smelled here is an action verb. Last one. The troops stayed loyal to the general. Let's substitute stayed with am, is, or are. So since we have troops, plural subject, so we use are. The troops are loyal to the general. Did it make sense? Okay, so therefore, since it did, it's a linking verb. The troops are loyal to the general. It maintained the meaning of the sentence. Okay? There. So that is your action and linking verb. I hope that you learned something from this video. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, share this video, and of course, subscribe and click that notification bell for you to be updated on the future videos. And continue supporting this channel and also the Facebook page, Teacher Rayven and the Teacher Rayven podcast, available in different podcast platforms. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the next video. Class dismissed.